The glasses are out because I'm pretending to be sophisticated. Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Simply Thandi. In today's video, I want to give you my advice for completing the Ielts exam. I've already talked about my experience in my last video, which you can check in the link down below. Basically, my experience went as follows. I needed to do the test in order to apply to one of the schools that I really wanted to get into. I ended up booking my exam the week after my semester 2 exams. So I was going to be studying for my semester 2 exams, and somewhere in there I had to fit in studying and preparing for the Ielts exam. So what ended up happening was that I only had one real full week of preparing just for the Ielts exam. But it went all right. It went well actually, because I achieved a band 8 at the end of the day. So I'm just gonna kind of share my tips of how you can hopefully achieve a band 8 and make all your dreams come true. Okay, so before I get started with my advice, I do want to include a little side note. I am a native English speaker. I've grown up speaking English, but it doesn't guarantee you success in the Ielts exam. And at the end of the day, it's still an exam. It's still something you need to prepare for, whether you're a native English speaker or not. In most cases, non-native English speakers tend to do better because they know the rules and whatnot about English in ways that native speakers just don't. Just don't. Yeah, so side note, I am a native English speaker. Also, this is not the first standardized test that I have taken a lot of exams in my life, basically. So the point is, I have a lot of experience with test taking. And for me personally, going into an exam hall doesn't bring as much anxiety as for some people, or people who've never done it before. So that's just kind of like my side note. I definitely suggest that you begin preparing as soon as possible. Just try and schedule a little bit of practice every single day. That should really help you. That is the way you prepare for exams, not doing what I did and studying it all in 1 week. But I was pretty confident in my abilities. But do not be like me. Prepare as soon as you can. That's definitely tip number 1. What I did first to prepare, I watched a load of YouTube videos that gave advice, that talked about the structure of the exam, that talked about the technique, and I took notes from that. I basically broke it down into the 4 sections that the exam is subdivided into, and then I made notes specifically for each of those. These videos weren't even long. I didn't even go for, the 40-minute videos that you find here on YouTube. I went for the 3-minute, 4-minute ones that got straight to the point and told you exactly what you need to know for each section. Note that everybody has a different way of tackling the problems, and another thing I wish I'd known is that not everybody is 100% accurate in the advice that they give. For example, people told me that with the reading section, the 3 passages that are going to come up will come in level of difficulty. So the first one will be the easiest, and then the last one will be the hardest, so you need to spend more time on that. That did not happen with me. I think it was the second one that was the hardest, and then the last one ended up being the easiest for me. So that kind of changes your timings a little bit. Either way, just take all the advice with a pinch of salt. Watch YouTube videos, check the advice that they have. Also check out blogs and stuff like that online. Yeah, so tip number 2 would be to check out the actual website. They have a ton of free stuff, a ton of free preparation material that you can use to get better. When you actually sign up, you get like a limited amount of time on the actual site where you can do interactive quizzes and practice exercises. Do them all. In the week of preparation, that is what I did mostly. You need to practice. Practice is the key. So use the free material that they give you, especially the stuff that's already on the website, because it's tailor-made for the exam. Kind of following on from number 1 is to note down the structure and the marking criteria especially. You need to know what exactly you need to do in order to get the band that you want. So for me, I was aiming for a band 9. So there are specific things you need to do for every band. Know them, practice how to do them. The next thing that I would also advise, even for people who feel quite comfortable with English, is that the listening is a little bit more trickier than you think it will. Everybody thinks, oh yeah, I listen and I speak in English quite a lot, especially if you're an international student or something, you probably listen to English on a daily basis and you don't even think about it. So a lot of people think that it will be a walk in the park. It's not. basically, you just have to practice. Remember that they're going to be using different accents. And that, initially when I first did my practice test, that was the most difficult thing for me, because even though I'd lived in different countries and I could hear the accents, knowing exactly the point that they were getting to and not just listening to the conversation, that, you know, you gotta pay attention, you gotta keep focused. So yeah, don't underestimate the listening, and don't underestimate the speaking either. You need to prepare for those two sections as well as the writing and the reading. The next thing that I would obviously say is that on the day, be comfortable, make sure that you've eaten, make sure you know where you're going. That's exam taking 101. You don't need me to tell you that, but make sure that you do it, especially wearing something that is comfortable. The IELTS is a long exam, and you know, you want to be awake, but you don't want to be too, you know, don't wear formal clothing. That's basically what I would say. The next thing that I definitely suggest when it comes to preparing for the IELTS is to aim high, and aim as high as you can possibly think it. Why do I say this? I think there's that saying, if you aim for the stars, you might just get the moon. If you aim high and you practice trying to get to a consistent level, high level, even if on the day things don't go well, at least you will get a level that is what you need to do whatever it is you need the IELTS for. But if you do end up in the situation where you do have to retake it, don't worry about it. Like, experience is key. Experience does help. But I'm just saying, aim as high as possible. That really helps with the practicing. The next thing that I would also say is to keep your practice tests and to keep all your practice materials. Obviously, you need to practice each section in its timed entirety. So what I would do is I'd set a timer. I would plan, like this is an example, a messy example of one of my task 2 essays, but I would take 5 minutes to plan, and then I would write up my essay. Afterwards, I would get it marked. That's what the red pen is. Basically, keep this from whenever you start practicing, because you want to be able to look on what you did well and what you didn't do so well to track your progress. You need to know if you're even getting better or if you're just getting worse. How do you do this? You do your practice tests, you mark them, and then you write the marks on whether it's just a blank piece of paper or on a spreadsheet. You keep those marks and you write them with the date. And as you're getting closer and closer to the exam, you should hopefully see an upward trend in your marks, getting closer to your target band, so that next time you write an essay, you are prepared. That is the whole point. So Thandi's top tip for this video would definitely be to make a list of vocabulary and interesting phrases that you can use in your writing. Why do I say this? Writing is usually the section that most people struggle with. If you've never done it before, look in dictionaries, look in scientific journals, look in books, look in newspapers. For words that you don't understand, look up the meaning, write them down, and maybe see if you can use them in a practice test. Maybe use words like both, parallel, the same as, distinct, similar to. On the other hand, if it's showing progression, whether it's in time, whether it's in, I don't know what it could show, but if it's showing progression, you could say a slight increase, rise, decrease, decline, evens out, gradual, stabilizes. You know, weird words that you would just never think to use them in the IELTS. It's about sounding intelligent. You have to remember that it's just an exam to show that you are eloquent enough to do whatever it is that you want to do. You are able to use English as a tool, which is what language basically is. I will link down videos below which will hopefully give some more insight into exactly what I mean. This was meant to be a quick summary. I hope this helps. If it does help, please comment, like, share, and subscribe. I would love to do more like academic-y videos. But yeah, don't worry about it. Like, the main thing that I say is don't panic, relax on the day. It is a long exam, you need your stamina. Yeah, I saw so many people panicking and going through their vocabulary right before the exam, and you know, the one thing that you need to do before any exam, I think, is to calm down and clear your mind. Hopefully this helps. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.